In part 2, we did some chasing, we roamed underground, we called a successful supply drop, we built out the compound, and then we laid in the grass watching the stars. And now, here we are. Let's continue the story. After setting up the external TCs, I decided to lay down a gate at one side of the compound. This would make it easier to bring horses in and out. If you build the way that I build, know that you'll be doing plenty of farming. But lucky for me, I enjoy farming. Alright, I'm going to water treatment. Oops, that's this way. After I finished my farming run, I decided it was time to do a blue card monument. So I took my only MP5 and I headed that way. I had successfully finished water treatment. I didn't encounter any enemies, so I made my way back to my horse and I headed home. Some people will slaughter a horse for some low grade, but me, I'll never do that. Horses don't attack, horses don't cause problems. All they do is help you get from point A to point B. I would never do anything to them other than feed them. Alright, I'm gonna risk it. I know this is the only gun I have right now, but I think I can pull it off. I'm gonna do oil. I'm really hoping that there's a boat here waiting for me. Somewhere over here. That'd be nice. Doing red card monuments on vanilla servers is always going to be difficult. Now, I checked the map and I saw the crate was there. This was a sign to me that it was time to head out there. But plans don't always go the way they were intended. I mean, I'm not finding a boat, which sucks, but oil rig is right there. You know what? I'm just gonna swim out there. I've got a tank. There were no boats that had spawned on this side of the water, so I decided I was just gonna swim there. As a solo, you gotta have thick skin and patience. Luckily, I've got both of those, so I hooked up my tank and I dived in. But the gunshots in the distance rang clear. It was obvious there were people on oil rig. But when the shots were fired, I decided it was better to retreat instead of try to fight. I had no chance against the group, so that's what I did. Okay, so oil rig was very much occupied. I'm not even gonna mess with that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do launch. Seeing how oil rig was no longer an option, launch site would be my next best option. So I grabbed some water, meds, and a weapon, along with that precious red card. I hopped on the horse and I headed that way. At this moment, I had realized I wasn't gonna make it. I didn't bring enough water to reduce the radiation until I was able to get out of line of sight. But still, I pushed forward and I made it up to the roof. But here is where time stood still. I was stuck in a loop of bandaging and losing health until eventually this happened. Reflecting on what just happened, I went ahead and just started upgrading my base. Stress does you no good, and dwelling on what you don't have literally does nothing. So the best thing you can do is move forward. This rainy day put me in a different mood, but the gloominess was a good shield from the enemies. So I grabbed my jackhammer and I went out for some farming. By this point in the wipe, I had collected a ton of resources that I wouldn't even need, so I decided to make a very dangerous run to Outpost. So with the raindrops hitting my skin, I ran as fast as I could. But on this particular run, the skies were incredible. In the back of my head, I knew that even if I died at this moment, it wouldn't matter. I was just lucky to be seeing what I was seeing. With the crazy amount of scrap that I had just gained, I began researching as much as I could down the tech tree. It was definitely time to get some electricity set up in the base. After doing a bit of upgrading and organizing, I began building out the structure for the wind turbine. After doing a quick gas station run, I made it back home and continued upgrading and researching, but it was time to tidy up the base even more to make sure that whenever I log off, I would feel fairly certain that my TC was safe. Before sealing up my TC, I wanted to organize my loot so that it was easier to see whenever I came to my boxes. So I spent some time and I got that done. Now that all the lights were connected, I flipped a switch, and just like that, we went from living with tuna can lamps, campfires, and torches to a fully lit base. And then finally, I sealed off the TC. No more fears. On this channel, you're not gonna get anything that's not real. This is the true solo experience. When things go well, we celebrate. When things don't go well, it hurts. But as solos, we always stand up, especially when we're being kicked down. But sometimes as a solo that plays the way that I play, I feel like I'm not from here. I feel like an outcast, someone that's playing against the norm. And sometimes I feel like my home is somewhere else, somewhere far, far away. Maybe my home is there, and maybe it's time to go back. But you see, I'm a dreamer just like you. So all I gotta do is close my eyes and I'm home.
The engine on the freeway hums on a cold day. Night starts to make way. Reminds me that I can't stay. This time now, back to space. This time now, back to space.
You've been watching an Orange Dream production.